Always wear 2 condoms when you're playing a Sonic game, kids. You don't want to contract anything. Sonic's been garbage for a long-ass time now. This isn't news, but I've never really been a big fan of them anyways. They were never really good games. They were just the right type of game that came out at the right time. But they almost immediately extinguished their spark of luck by messing with the system. Racing games? Fighting games? Party games? He's a wolf? Don't! You don't mess with that shit. And they did, because they love making garbage. In fact, they love making garbage so much that after a decade of making garbage, they decided to make a garbage trilogy of garbage. Sonic and the Black Knight is the story of when fast wasn't fast enough, so they gave him a sword. Who thought of this? I hope they got fired. It's the whole Excalibur story. You know the one. King Arthur, Merlin, the Lady of the Lake, the whole deal. Except Merlin's this chick, Arthur's evil, Lady of the Lake is Amy. I guess Sonic is the king now? Isn't that the deal? Or does the sword choose? Is that how genes work now? So the entire gameplay is composed of holding forward, jumping, shielding, and jerking the Wiimote around like an absolute idiot. The cutscenes are a little too much scene and not enough cut. I hate this style of comic book ass cutscene. They bait you in with a beautiful opening cutscene and then fill the whole game with this cheap ass keyframe bullshit. The game's on rails, which isn't a terrible idea. It lets you focus on upcoming obstacles and the path bends and curves while keeping your speed constant. This fast, slick gameplay gets broken up all the time by levels that include sneaking and obstacles that demand you to wait, stupid end goals that demand you to kill certain amounts of enemies, or even stop what you're fucking doing to give money to villagers. Like QuickTime event. These people are starving to death, so they need you to come by, pick up the money that's literally feet away from them, and give it to them, and they're all like, nah, you gotta earn the right to give me this free money. They challenge you to a fucking QuickTime event. Fuck these guys. Fuck these levels. What is this? Why is this here? What is its purpose? Most of these levels are much better off when you just skip the enemies and jump over them. But then you end up with a shitty score. We can't have that. Not if you want to get in good with those leaderboards. Also, there are leaderboards. Overall, the game's pretty easy. Most levels you can just skip the enemies or just blow through them. There are very few enemies that really get in your way, and the slow levels are just inconvenient and ruin the flow of the games, but they're not hard. Throughout the game, there are several mini-bosses. All trash. You can just swing away and you'll get them every time. They're more story elements anyways. You actually get to play with them later. Yeah, it's terrible. You'd think that they're just reskins, but you'd be fucking wrong. They actually each have their own battle techniques and run speed and even jump distances. There are actually levels that some of the characters can't complete due to their shitty jumps, and there's no way of knowing without going through the level and then just hitting that spot. Luckily enough, you never have to actually play with them. The story makes it seem like you do, but you don't. Oh, did I mention there are items? I guess they wanted to make it more RPG-y by adding items that you get by completing levels. All I do is add to some sort of item Pokedex. I don't know, some pretty pointless stuff. And there's equipable items that do pretty much diddly. Not much sense talking about it. The bosses are actually really fun and cool, except they're hard for the stupidest reasons. The bosses include QuickTime events with varying timings, which makes it impossible to beat without trial and error. They're just memory games, really. And they don't telegraph their movements very well, so you could be making the same mistake time and time again without realizing what you're doing wrong. Overall, this game is bad. Big surprise, right? It's a modern Sonic game. They gave him a fucking sword, what were they thinking? But it's actually really bad. The flow is butchered by ridiculously stupid level designs and goals. It's full of unnecessary components to try and give it a feeling that they shouldn't be aiming for. The gameplay doesn't feel like it follows the story at all, and the game is endlessly repetitive. But with all that said, I don't hate this game. I had fun at least. For the parts that they didn't fuck up, the sense of speed is nice, which is a good thing considering it's their only gimmick. It's like the loops in Sonic Adventure that's basically an interactive cutscene except it spans the whole game. It sounds like a dumb idea on paper, but you end up with some really cool level design. Zipping around mountains and jumping through holes and boulders, it really plays off of the speed approach well. I'm not a huge Sonic fan, but I know what I like out of the series, and that's speed. Not a thing that's easily done, and I feel it's done really well here. I love the environments and the way Sonic goes through them. It's exactly what I've always wanted. Sonic games in the past have always been too slow for me. Be it the draw distance being too close to react to upcoming hazards, to ridiculous platforming and stupid game modes. They've never really given me what I wanted, except for Sonic Riders, which is one of my all-time favorite PS2 games, actually. Until the sequel pulled off the unthinkable and fucked with the system! The length for this game is great for what it is. It's only like a 4-hour game. I ended up playing through it twice to get the footage I needed, and would probably do it again. The difficulty varies from stupid easy to pretty frustrating but doable, and I really enjoyed the end boss. Besides the shortcomings, Arthur was really freaking cool in the final form. So overall, it's a terrible game with some decent aspects to it. I'd recommend giving it a try as long as you don't have to pay actual money for it. If you miss out on this one, you're not missing anything groundbreaking. There are better and worse games in the Sonic series alone. And with that, that concludes my first ever video review. Hope you enjoyed it.